So Chinese medicine, I'm going to go over some basic concepts that apply to Lyme disease. I'm going to go through some of the different modalities that we use in Chinese medicine, and then talk about some treatment challenges that we have in our profession, and then end with one style of treatment, which is called Gua syndrome. So Chinese medicine is a holistic treatment and diagnostic. If somebody comes to me with headaches, I'm going to ask them not only about their headaches, but also about their digestion, their sleep, and I'm going to use that in the treatments that I come up with. The terminology can get confusing really fast. It's something that in acupuncture school we take 3-4 years to learn. Some of the concepts that I bring up tonight I don't expect you to understand, and that's absolutely fine. But I do want to bring it up just so that you have a little bit of a taste of it. And diseases and pathologies are different than in Western medicine. So there is, within the Chinese medicine system, nothing that is Lyme disease. So we take a look at the symptoms and the patterns and treat it differently. So these are the tools we'll go over. Patients are treated individually based on their conditions and symptoms. So the acupuncture points, the herbs that I'm going to use for one person to another are going to be different. And also in the same person, from one treatment to the next, I might use different acupuncture points and herbs. And I don't represent all of Chinese medicine here. There's a very large history. The Huangdi Jing, internal classic of the Yellow Emperor, was written about 100 BC. Since then, you can imagine there's been a lot of different perspectives and ways of interpreting the medicine, and so there's hundreds of different styles of acupuncture in Chinese medicine. The two that I've listed, TCM, the traditional Chinese medicine, and 5-element, are the two schools, or two types of schools that are taught in the United States, the primary two, I should say. So what is qi? Most people think energy, right? That's actually not really, it is maybe the best single word translation, but the concept is much more. So I like to think of qi as this equation right here, which is what fuels every single cell in the body. It's our base metabolism. I like to use intelligent metabolism, although for the sake of ease, I still use the word energy, even though I don't necessarily like it. I also like to think of qi as chemistry. So if you think about like a sports team, I was hoping to use the Capitals as an example, but moving right along, whenever we talk about the highest level of sports, there's always this idea of, well, the team chemistry, right? And the best teams have the best chemistry. They can anticipate what each other are doing, and so qi is that, which you can't quite name, but you know it when you see it, when things just work really well together. So that's how the organs work in the body, is through that kind of qi. That's how the body works. So when I talk, about tonification of qi, this isn't just about energy. This is about the intelligent metabolism. Qi is formed through breath, through digestion, and also from our parents, inherited. The deficiency and excess are two really, this is an important concept when talking about Lyme disease treatments. And if you get nothing else from this discussion, I hope you take this home with you, which is that Lyme disease is a disease of both excess and deficiency. So you have deficiency of qi, which we just talked about, blood, yin, yang, and then the jing, that inherited energy. The other terms I'm going to bring up in just a moment. So when you have deficiency of this of qi, of this energy, you're going to get fatigue, weakness, pale face, poor concentration, poor memory. We use the term tonification. So you want to tonify deficiency, right? You want to build that up. And then on the other side, you have an excess, something beyond what the body wants, right, that you want to get rid of. So in this case, we use the term wind, which is a pathogen, and this is the flu-like symptoms, the chills, the fever, neck pain, aversion to wind. Sometimes people can't stand to be under air conditioning, or when you're outside, you feel like you really need to bundle up even if it's not that cold. So those are those excess symptoms of Lyme disease. And so you want to reduce that excess. So it's really important, and this is where I see my role is in an integrative clinic is to help to build the body, to make sure that deficiency part isn't forgotten, because it's really, really important with any treatments that, yeah, you want to use antibiotics, you need to kill the bugs, but you also need to make sure that person can sustain it. A couple other concepts, yin and yang. So we've all seen the picture. Sometimes people get tattoos and they probably don't know what it means. But what yin and yang is simply an opposition of forces. So I think of it as positive and negative. For every positive, you need a negative. And with yin, you have cold, dark, and with yang, you have heat and light. So again, bringing it back to physiology, yin is the substance of the body, whereas yang is the function. And those two are very important. You have to have substance and function as well. So with yin deficiency, kind of taking a step back, this is important because with a lot of diagnosis of symptoms, people are either one or the other, okay? And what I'm seeing in a lot of patients with this persistent Lyme disease is they have both, right? So they're both yin and yang deficient. So yin, the symptoms that we're seeing are insomnia, night sweats, either an afternoon fever or just a sensation of warmth. And then the yang deficiency would be, if you're lacking that heat, right, that metabolism, that warmth, you're going to have cold hands and limbs, poor circulation, poor metabolism, fatigue, poor digestion, and cold sweats. And a lot of people have both of these groupings of symptoms. Another important concept is the Shen, so your cognition, emotions, vitality. The best way to find out a person's Shen is just by looking them in the eye. So sometimes people just really, they don't have much happening. Sometimes people have that spark in their eye. There's always that wild look people have in their eyes. We all know these things. We just don't have real terms for them. Well, that's the Shen. And blood is what carries qi, what carries that intelligent metabolism. And it's the substance of the heart and plays a role in sleep and cognition and emotions. So I'm going to go very briefly through the different modalities that, like the toolbox that acupuncturists have. Not every acupuncturist uses all of these, but and there's plenty more that I don't use. But these are modalities that can really be quite beneficial for Lyme. So acupuncture is the insertion of fine needles into the points on the body. There's many benefits of acupuncture. I've listed a couple here that are of Lyme symptoms: headaches, nausea, anxiety, body pain, fatigue, and insomnia. There are many more benefits of acupuncture. Auricular can be especially helpful for balancing emotions, for PTSD, addictions, and for the brain fog and Bell's palsy that we see. Moxibustion, or Moxa, is a technique for warming the acupuncture points. So I mentioned yang deficiency, this lack of warmth, right, when people are feeling cold all the time. So this is where you bring in your moxa to warm up those points. So it's an herb that's burned. There's forms, the bottom picture is the compressed version, which is smokeless, and those are just held over the points. And somebody who is getting this done just feels warmth over the point. It shouldn't really feel hot, when it's done. It's quite comfortable. People actually quite like it. And it can also be rolled into threads or cones and placed on the point. So that's the top picture. And it's effective in reducing pain and toxicity and building that energy. Cupping, some of you may have seen these kinds of perfect circular bruising marks. Occasionally there'll be somebody like Gwyneth Paltrow in the celebrity circuit, that's walking around with these circles on their backs. And then also the Chinese swim team in the last Olympics sported these nice circles. So cupping is used for muscle tension, fascial release, and detoxification. The cups are used and a vacuum suction is created, so it just pulls up the blood and the fascia to the surface. And in wet cupping, you apply the suction for a few minutes and you actually needle the area and reapply and draw some blood. And the blood that comes out sometimes has been shown to have toxins and fibrin and some additional cytokines that are different from if you would do it with somebody who is not, who is healthy. And it can treat Herxheimer's reactions fairly quickly. Gua Sha is a scraping technique. In sports medicine, it's called Graston technique. So oil lubricates the skin and you scrape along different parts of the body to reduce pain or eliminate stiffness. And again, this isn't painful. It's just it does form some redness, but it's not painful. This is a technique that's really good for expelling wind from the system, that pathogen that causes the cold and flu symptoms, and that's done actually on the back of the neck.